Hi, welcome back to another Daily Lasagna. This one's a little bit later than I usually record. In fact, let me see if I can get my watch up here. You can see it's 9:36. I usually record these in the morning when I do my miracle morning, but I slept through my alarm. I didn't even hear it. So I've been up for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and anyway, um, so yesterday I was super frustrated with the way things had gone. I think I talked about some of the financial crap that I've been going through. And anyway, things are a little bit better today. I will admit, though, that yesterday was pretty incredibly awful. Um, I've never actually had a panic attack before, so I don't know if what happened yesterday qualifies as one, but um, I basically came in here at one point, sat down, I couldn't breathe, and basically freaked out. And once I could breathe again, then I kind of got things under control. And to give you just a brief rundown of what went on, one of my sponsors came to me and basically said that there was some erroneous information up on devchat.tv. It was an old banner of theirs, but the way that they're doing things had changed, and people were coming to them asking for the old way that things were done, which actually cost them some money and things like that. And so, um, anyway, I really care about taking care of the sponsors as well as taking care of the podcast listeners. And so between that and then just the fact that things have been tight for so long and my stress level was already up to here, um, it just pushed things way past the limit. And so I had a complete freak out. Um, the concern, and I don't know if I talked about this yesterday, was basically, the air conditioning in my upstairs is out. Downstairs works, but upstairs is out. Now I have somebody coming to look at it today, and but at the time, I didn't have any money to pay for it to get fixed. Um, the one thing I doubt I mentioned, and you know what, I'm just going to be perfectly straight up and honest here, um, is that the power bill is due. We actually got a shut off notice, so if I don't pay them tomorrow, they're going to come out and turn it off on Thursday. And I didn't see where that money was going to come from either. And so, between all of these different things kind of stacking up, and then my mom actually paid for my son to do this program called Brain Balance. And among other things, my son has to eat a pretty specialized diet, which means that we have to go buy a whole bunch more food. And so I was trying to figure out where all that money was going to come from, and I was freaking out hardcore. Um, I was talking to my wife, do I need to go get a full time job? Because I've been doing the podcast full time for a while, been doing some contracts, but I just hadn't had any contracts come in that were working out. So, and then I kind of blew my chance on a contract about a month ago because I wasn't sure that I needed it. And so, I just didn't know how it was going to work. And I don't know if people really know. And I want the Daily Lasagna to be something that where I can talk about all aspects of living. And so, um, I'm a practicing, believing Mormon. I believe in Jesus Christ, and a lot of the different things that kind of go along with that. But anyway, so I was praying pretty hard yesterday before everything kind of fell apart on me, and I was praying really hard. Do I need to go find a job? Because I do get answers when I pray, and I got a pretty distinct impression. No, it's not time to get a full time job. And I mean, if things get dire enough, then I may pray and get a different answer. But apparently now is not the time. And so, then all of this other stuff happened, and I'm like, I don't know where money comes from if if I'm not working. I'm working on finding sponsors, and I've got a number of sponsors that are should be paying me over the course of the next several weeks. But I didn't know where any of this was going to come from. And, I kind of got the lesson of just trusting God. Um, because after I freaked out and everything else, um, I actually went over to a neighbor's house because they were having a barbecue, just right across the street here. And anyway, so I went over there with my wife and kids, and I couldn't even stand to sit there, because I wasn't solving this problem. And especially, with things going the way they were with the sponsor, I just wanted to make sure that things were solid and that they were getting taken care of. And I wasn't satisfied with the way things were going. So, and I just couldn't get it off my mind. And so I came back over here and I sat down. The panic attack happened right before I went over to the barbecue. So I came back. I called my father-in-law up and, just talked through a lot of this with him. And, he offered some good advice. It wasn't anything that I hadn't thought of on my own, but, at the same time, it just helps sometimes to have somebody tell you that it's going to be okay. I got off the phone, got on my email, and I had an email from a company that sets up sponsorships for the shows periodically. And there had been a little bit of a dispute regarding a sponsorship that they had set up. The sponsorship had been run fine, but there was some confusion from the company doing the sponsorship about where they should have been able to see the sponsorship and the media and everything else that's involved in that. And so I clarified all of that, and it turned out that they turned around and released the funds for the sponsorship. And so all of a sudden, I have about $2,000 more than I had, 5 minutes before. So, now I can pay to get the air conditioning fixed, and I can pay the power bill, and we can go buy food, and I can pay my folks for another few weeks. And, I'm just getting much more deliberate about the way that I do things so that I can handle what's coming my way and just be responsible about what's going on, because I want to continue to serve people, both sponsors and podcast listeners. I want to make the conferences, go off without a hitch and, be awesome. And, I really feel like this is something that I contribute to the programming world and to people in general, just helping them with their careers and their livelihoods and things like that, as well as, just people writing better software, and that makes everybody's life better. And so I didn't want to give that up, and I didn't want to have to try and figure out a way to do both a full-time job or a full-time contract and the podcasts. I will if I have to, and I'm not going to give up on the podcasts. But at the same time, it just it was rough. It was a really rough day yesterday. So anyway, everything's good now. Like I said, I should have some more money coming in, within the next week or so, and things kind of looks up from there. I'm changing the way that I approach a lot of this stuff. I read a book called Profit First, and I'm going to be implementing a lot of that stuff. I fully recognize that things are going to be a little bit tight under that system. But we'll figure it out. I've also cut back a ton of stuff that I was spending money on that, I realized I didn't need to spend it on. And I think we're just going to stick with that for a while until we have an emergency fund and things like that. But, it's sometimes you just have times like that. Sometimes you have days like that. And, that's just the way it is. So anyway, I may bring some of this up on Entre Programmers. So if you want to go check that out and kind of hear a fuller discussion with a few of my friends, the mastermind group, then by all means check that out. And then, this week I'm just getting marketing done for conferences and hunting up sponsors like crazy. And I'll probably be working on my course on finding a job. So anyway, it sounds like I have a baby outside trying to find me, so I'm gonna jump off. But anyway, I guess I got a little more vulnerable than I'm completely comfortable with on this, but it happens. And you know, anyway, that's kind of where things are at right now. And yeah, I also have a little bit more sympathy for people that you know maybe have a little bit more anxiety in their lives, and experience the kind of uh, terror and things that go into the kind of panic attack or whatever it was that I went through yesterday. Um, but yeah, um, if you have any thoughts or ideas on on what we can do, that'd be great. Um, I've also been texting my business coach, and she's been giving me some advice as well. And so, yeah, lots of ideas, and we're just going to pull it out. We'll get through it. So, anyway, thanks for watching or listening, and I'll be back on tomorrow.